back to Goggles Off, the only excuse-free show
On YouTube.
on YouTube. Yes, and
That does reviews, so we're trying to construct a tagline here, in case you're wondering. Bear with us.
and also bear with us as we talk about one of our favorite games of all time, Dark Legacy.
Yeah.
I'm removing the Gauntlet from the name in the hopes of not tainting the brand. Oh, by the way, this is a good game.
Gauntlet. Dark Legacy.
So, Julian, you have some fond memories of this game. Would you care to share them with us?
Yeah. So what happened was, when I was a kid, my parents divorced when I was young, so we had my mom's house, my dad's house. My mom's house had the PS2. This is one of the games she had for it. And me and my brother, for months on end, we would try to beat this game every time we went over to her house. And we never got very far, but I remember having a good time with it, because I was a kid, and I don't want to say I didn't know any better, but, you know, at the time it was okay, right? Now, that was about 2004.
That's right. 11 years later,
Yeah.
we are doing a retrospective on this game. See if it really stands up.
And the problem was, there's the problem with nostalgia in a way. It had plenty of time to grow in my head as, oh, well, the game was good, but I can never really quite finish it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we actually got to replaying it, and now I'm remembering why exactly me and my brother had such a hard time actually completing the damn thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I remember going up to him like, Cam, we should keep playing Gauntlet. He's like, are you sure? I don't really want it. I'm like, nah, it'll be fun. Until me and Peter played it, and we're like, oh, this has issues.
It does, but the thing we should point out is that we did not play the PlayStation 2 version. We were playing the GameCube.
Which we actually found out later on in the process that this is considered the weakest port of the game.
Yeah.
There's a PS2 version, there's a GameCube version, there's an Xbox version.
Oh, don't forget the arcade as well. This
Well,
came out with an arcade version.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, in terms of ports.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
arcade's not a port, it's the original, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, the GameCube version is considered the weakest version of the game. And we had no idea until we were into it. And I started looking stuff up. I'm like, oh, what's the best version? Everybody said the PS2.
Yeah.
So the premise of the game is like any other Gauntlet. Everybody, well, every retro gamer probably knows what Gauntlet is.
Yep, there were many different versions of Gauntlet, and I should bring up that I actually played the original NES version with my grandfather back at his house. And that was a lot of fun. It was only 2-player, as opposed to the 4-player version in the arcade and pretty much any other version of Gauntlet. But it was a lot of fun. Very simple, but still enjoyable and kind of abstract, as you like to say. But there are many things to enjoy about it. This was very different.
So the first thing that you notice when you start the game up is that it's a direct sequel, remake of the previous game, which was Gauntlet Legends.
Yes. Yeah. In
Right
fact,
down to pretty much everything in it. The graphics were the same, the levels were the same.
I should point out that I printed out a bunch of notes about this game just to make sure that we don't get lost, because there's a lot of stuff to go over here. Yeah.
But
I'm easy.
there's a like they switch the levels around, but the levels are still the same. Now, the first thing you're gonna notice is that the graphics being the same as they were on the N64, but the frame rate doesn't match. It doesn't match the hardware of the GameCube. It's still running at like sub 30.
Yeah.
Which really confused the hell out of me at first when we replayed it.
Yeah, they did not optimize this at all.
No, and as far as optimization goes, I really thought I could put this off till longer, but the biggest problem with the game is the amount of bugs within it. This may be just the GameCube version. I hear the PS2 and Xbox version are much more stable. But this is a very, I don't want to say unfinished, but it's unpolished. It's very rough around the edges. There are certain areas in the game where if you collect the scrolls, the little touch them and you get hints, they will freeze the game up. There are certain boss items that when you use them, they don't work, and that is a bug that's in all the GameCube versions of this game. It's a legitimate bug that was never corrected when it was shipped.
An unforgivable bug, I should say.
Yeah, because it makes one of the boss fights, the Chimera, 10 times harder than it should be.
Yeah, you know what else? Very, very clearly in here, the boss item that you use to supposedly make the game easier is specifically called the Scimitar of Decapitation.
Yeah.
You use this item in the game. It does not decapitate anything, god freaking damn it.
It just
spins around.
it spins around and it goes towards where the boss is standing, and it just spins inside the model because I don't think they added collision to it.
Oh my.
So the two
or
objects-
the animation or anything.
So because one object doesn't hit the other, they don't trigger an event flag that will actually give the boss damage. So I see this little scimitar spinning inside a model of a Chimera and doing nothing, where you're just mashing the A button and trying to kill the goddamn thing.
It should be pointed out that with all the bosses in this game, you cannot tell if you're doing anything to it. Occasionally they'll recoil like 3 times in one fight, but there's no health bar, there's no real indication of damage or anything. You can't tell because you're constantly wailing on this thing.
Would you believe me if I told you that in the other ports of the game they give you the health bar? I remember playing the PS2 version that's what I had growing up, and it very clearly had a health bar right on top of the screen.
Oh my.
Now here's the question: is this a bug? Did they take it out? What was the reason for that? Because it just makes the game less intuitive.
I'm just convinced that when they gave the people the coding to put this on the GameCube version, they sent in the B squad. They gave this to the B squad of coders at Midway. They did a terrible job because
it's a pretty bad port.
There are so. All right, let's run down the list of things to complain about. 1. Okay, 1.
I try not to take an hour on this.
All right, sorry. 1. Horribly optimized. The frame rate chugs terribly, even though the graphics are subpar at best for a GameCube title.
It's previous generation graphics, and even on the previous generation, they weren't the best ones available at the time.
Yeah, all right. 2. The little effects on your throwing animation. They go through your little item display at the bottom of the screen.
Yes.
You can see it through the display. It's so stupid.
The little trail of the beam goes through your inventory screen, so if you're positioned in the wrong area, it makes your status bar very hard to read.
Yeah.
Why? I'm not sure, but good way.
Yeah. 3. Your characters can bump into each other. I don't know if that's a bug, but it's a problem when you've got a game with so many tight corridors and stuff like that.
Yeah, the level design, it's very strange because like the game feels like it's made for 4 people, but the level design doesn't support that at all. There's many tight corridors, there's many traps, which somebody's going to run into at some point.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of congestion. And generally when you want a co-op game, you have like a lot of big open spaces, or you have fast movement to compensate, or you have like a dodge button to move around the area easier.
Yeah, or the game automatically positions your characters so they don't keep bumping into each other. Like, say you're trying to go down a narrow corridor, the game might position the guys automatically so you go single file. Not this one. This one, you reenact so many Three Stooges scenes where they're going through the doorway and they get stuck.
Yeah.
They get stuck!
Or somebody's like way in the distance and you're trying to round a corner, but because the camera pushed forward, you can't actually round the bend, and then he has to backtrack in order to get you out.
Yeah.
Now this is all what we're having with 2 people. Now imagining 2 other friends sitting down, and then the game just kind of denigrates into chaos. Now granted, I mean, like, you can make the argument that, oh well, you know, Gauntlet, you could shoot the potions and hurt everybody. Gauntlet's built around chaos. Woo!
Yeah.
But like, it's meant to be a fun experience. You know, like this. This is a game which was advertised as get your friends together, conquer the evil, get items, and keep pressing forward.
Right here. Foreplay at its best. Not at its best.
This Mario Party meme of everything's going to be chaotic and horrible, and that's what you have to deal with.
Yeah. Fun in chaos. No.
That's just historical revisionism made to make this look better. It doesn't work with 4 people. Or if it does,
yeah,
you and your 3 friends they better have a shitload of patience.
All right, I'll
Because
give
a
it
lot
the.
of things are gonna. A lot of things are just gonna push your limit as far as that's concerned.
I'll give it the benefit of the doubt because we did not play this with 4 players. We played it with 2.
That is true.
So we can't properly judge it on that. But we can judge it on everything else, like the items. There are 27 different power-ups to use in this game. And some of them, granted, they are incredibly helpful, like the fire shield, the anti-death, the bomb potion? Bomb potion? What the heck is that? What?
You know, before you read your notes, you might want to read it first.
I don't think some of these items were actually used in this version of the game.
I'm gonna play it, but wait, what the hell is this?
Elemental breath. Okay, that actually has 4 different kinds, I think.
But the point you're trying to make is that there are some weapons that are suited for the environment,
Yeah,
and some that aren't.
yeah, and more importantly,
They give you 2 versions of invincibility too. That struck me as a little odd.
they could have compressed some of these. They could have combined some of this stuff. The elemental breath, I don't really know if that's really very useful.
It's good for crowd control, but once you get to a certain point in the game, when you get the familiars,
Yeah.
after like level 20 or so, you just mow down fucking mooks anyway so fast that the lightning breath doesn't matter.
Yeah. And more
And it actually
importantly,
takes more time than hammering A, so there's literally no reason to keep it.
more importantly, the way you select your items, because you can
The
only
inventory's pretty bad.
you can only have 10 items in your inventory at any given time, or is it 10? It's some limited.
No, it's 10, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the problem is, and I think this is a GameCube issue because again on the PS2 I never remember running into this.
Yeah.
Granted, it was a decade ago and I might not know.
Yes.
But you select on the GameCube, you select your inventory with the D-pad. Mm-hmm. But
You press up on it.
there's a weird bug where you can select the items in your inventory, but the display has them as invisible. So you go into the inventory, right? You press up on the D-pad,
Yeah.
and then it actually lets you select the item.
Yeah. However,
So you could use it.
Yeah.
And then you just scroll to the next item by pressing left or right on the D-pad. You hit up on the D-pad, and then you select that item. And you have to repeat for every single item you possess.
yeah. However, if the item that you're selecting is an instantaneous thing, unlike say the fire shield, which you can unequip,
Yeah.
if it's an instantaneous thing, you use it automatically, whether you want to do it or not.
Yeah.
Not fun. Especially if you have, say, something like, what do you got here? Your turbo, which automatically increases your special meter. If you want to save that, you can't select it at that time.
Yeah, it's just automatically used no matter what. So
Midway!
it's another thing that strikes me as really confusing because in the PS2 version, it was just selected with the D-pad and I think you press a button, but that's it. Mm-hmm. You never had to do this stupid, my names are invisible, but I can still select the item, but I need to actually press up on the D-pad to make the names visible. Stupid BS. I think that's just like another porting error. There's really no justification I could ever think of where that would be something they intentionally put in there. Mm-hmm. And I think that goes back to the remark that you made that like the B team, the B team's B team got hold of this game and ported it to a GameCube.
Yeah, it was just one guy in a closet with an Apple II.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
that's another advantage the PS2 version's going to have over this.
Yeah.
So,
Perhaps we'll check it at some point, but probably not because I'm very much tired of this game.
so the sound's relatively inoffensive. You know, the music's okay.
Yeah, the music's alright, except for the end level music, which is just one guy banging away on his timpani forever and ever and ever.
It's like a it's like a 1 second loop just repeating over and over. The sound effects didn't bother me nearly as much though as I'm sorry, the music didn't bother me nearly as much as the sound effects though, where like you'll just hear the same things over and over and over.
Yeah.
I will get you.
Yeah.
If you take someone else's food, even though they have more health,
Yeah.
the other character will make a remark. But the thing is, at least in our game, that triggered almost every single time we got anything at all.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
anytime to bring up food, his character would say, "I'll get you."
Or, you are greedy.
Yeah.
Screw you,
dude,
I needed this.
I have 200 health. You have 700. Shut up. Come on, buddy.
To be honest, we couldn't tell if that was the other character saying that, or like the wizard, or...
Yeah.
We couldn't tell who that voice was, because it's the same voice every time.
I think it's the character because
Yeah.
they say different things depending on what character you have equipped. They all have different sayings. So I think there's
Yeah.
the character, but you're right, like they don't make a very good point of illustrating that. So you're just hearing these voices.
Yeah. Maybe they could have had little conversation bubbles.
Yeah, like, you know. So sound effects and music, okay, like they're there. They're not particularly offensive, but they don't really stand out. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Now,
the graphics...
the
well,
graphics we already went over.
Well, we should talk about it in context of all the level design, because there's one benefit I can talk about with this game, is that the designs for the levels, they're creative.
Yes.
They do a good job with that, and there are a lot of favorite levels I can talk about, like the sky batteries and stuff like that, and the nightmare levels. Those are pretty cool.
There's levels based off like an MC Escher painting. There's levels based off in the sky nearing these really cool airships.
Yeah.
There's an airship. There's a level where you're storming the castle. There's a level where you're like these ice caverns where like you have like these docks and there's freezing water and all these boats are coming around.
Yeah.
You have levels set in Egypt.
Yeah.
Now
There's a lot of creativity there that the camera does in no way help, but...
in there.
Yeah.
See, this is the main problem with the game because everything else is kind of window dressing to this point.
Yeah, you can probably get past the other problems were it not for...
The fact that arcade gameplay does not necessarily translate well to a console environment. It's one thing to put in a couple quarters into an arcade machine, wait for a few minutes, and get the impression that, oh, well, the game's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like with you and Gauntlet. You know, you put a couple quarters into Gauntlet, you think,
Yeah.
oh, Gauntlet's a fun game, and you move right on to the next game in the arcade cabinet line.
Yeah.
That's
Or
what you do at an arcade. You're not sitting all day on a freaking Gauntlet machine. At least most people won't.
that's why you have lives, or at least a limited amount of health or something like that.
Yeah.
Because that creates an end point to the game. This game is not really designed for marathon sessions at all.
Despite the fact that it has the hours required to beat the game or a marathon level.
Yeah, hold on a second. How many? There are 9 main levels listed on here, and then
There's-
3
yeah.
final levels.
60 levels in total.
Yeah.
Each one taking you about, I don't know,
An hour tops, kind of a thing.
not for a single level.
Okay.
A world maybe.
A world, that's what I mean.
But
a world,
like
yeah.
a level's only going to run you about 5-10 minutes. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of grinding in it,
Yeah.
and again, this is the problem with the arcade games on consoles. Like they need some way to pad the gameplay out, and you run to this point where the bosses have such this astronomical amount of health, which
Yeah.
you never hope to beat. So
Even
do
if
the
you
levels
think you
over
can-
and over and over again.
Yeah.
But with experience being doled out to whoever injures the monster and kills it, rather than whoever's there at the time.
Yeah.
Getting
Not fair.
experience turns into, okay, I will kill these monsters, and then you kill these monsters, and suddenly what's meant to be this kind of free-floating, oh, we'll just go here and kill it,
Yeah.
becomes very rigid and methodical if you want to get anywhere in the game. Unless you do get a little ahead in the game, all you need to do is just grind bosses and not even get items, you just upgrade your stats.
Yeah.
So, in terms of your character's statistics, you're hitting the ceiling with them much sooner than the level cap would. So you're seeing the end game at around the mid game, by which it would actually take for you to defeat, the Phantasm in the MC Escher world,
Oh, man.
or the Yeti in the Ice world.
And
You're
you
already
think-
hitting max level just to get that, and then you're like, Jesus Christ, I have more levels to go.
Yeah, we should talk about the Phantasm, or as he's called in here, the, hang on.
Annoying piece of shit asshole face.
Shadow Wraith. We should talk about him, because up until this point, alright, you have 3 bosses at the beginning. The Chimera, the Dragon, and the Garm. And these guys, they felt like the best bosses in the game, because we were low level, and the game kind of required you to duck and weave and stuff like that. It felt like they were designed around that.
Yeah.
But by the time we got to the rest of the levels and we'd done so much grinding, the bosses were a cakewalk. We could just stand there, take it and then just keep shooting stuff at him, and it was so boring until we got to the Shadow Wraith, who is
The most
impossible.
annoying, aggravating enemy in the entire game, and I'm not going to say ever.
No, not
I'm,
ever.
I'm not being that hyperbolic, but
Hyperbolic. Yeah.
he is such a ridiculous health sponge that
Hey, the rest of the guys.
There's a guy there's a guy that ran on Game FAQs where they said the minimum level that you need to hit these guys at.
That's right.
I think that like for the Shadow Wraith, it was like anything less than 80, you simply will not make it. But we had two of us at like 85 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We still had the hardest time in the world, and we actually had to cheat, get a new character, which is invincible, send him in front just to tank everything.
And we still died.
And we still died.
And then I just picked up the third controller, started wailing on him a little bit, and then he died.
There's been two people. Oh, it's just the balance is non-existent.
He wouldn't be so bad if you could figure out what attacks he was telegraphing and stuff like that. But it just comes at you so fast.
Or if he had a friggin' health bar.
Ah, man.
Why is this crucial piece of information being withheld?
Where's quality assurance on this?
But getting back to my original point,
Yeah.
the main problem with the game is that the gameplay is arcade gameplay in a console setting. It's not very fundamentally deep.
No.
So they run out of things to throw your way.
Yeah.
Very, very, very quickly.
They try to make it interesting with like new characters and stuff like that, but they're just reskins of the pre-existing sets.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to the end, everybody's stats are the same. You're all max on everything.
Yeah, and even when you get the new characters, if you want to play as a new character, they start off at level 1.
Yeah.
So where's your incentive to switch over and get new stats or whatever? Just none. It's just, hey, you're in the middle of the game, but here's something you can have the next time you play. There will be a next time, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Where are you going? Come back.
It's like, come on, buddy. But,
man.
it just doesn't translate well. I don't think. Running around mashing the A button is fun in an arcade, but when they're expecting you to sit down for hours on end, play this with a friend, go over it, spend 60 levels worth of action when it's the same gameplay every single time, I just don't think it works.
Yeah. Even
Now-
the end screen isn't much of a reward because we didn't get it in our game at all.
There's an end screen that you're supposed to get once you beat the game, and I think it's another thing that wrong with the GameCube version because it just kicked us back to the main menu.
Maybe it was just for the arcade.
And we're both sitting there thinking to ourselves like, that's the ending.
That's all she wrote?
We
What?
we beat the game. Yellow Wizard guy says something.
Congratulations.
And then right to square one.
Yeah, that wizard guy, he is very annoying. Every time you get a runestone or level up or something like that, it cuts to a scene of him as a ghost or a projection. At first I thought it was the ghost of the wizard guy who died, but no, it was it's, what's his face, Sumner? Yeah, that's his name.
Sumner.
Yeah, Sumner.
Like Summer, but with an N because, I don't know, it's fantasy.
Why not? And his brother's name was Garm.
Yeah.
Another stupid name. And Scorn with a K.
Well, it was, I don't want to say it was the 90s, but it was the early 2000s when the 90s were still our cultural after-image.
Yeah. This was almost 90s on crack.
It was Midway, so using
Yeah.
K's for C's was kind of in.
Oh yeah, this is Midway. Don't forget.
You know how it goes. But
They were very combative. Ho ho.
yeah. I mean, would you recommend this game to everybody? And did you like it?
All right, here's the thing. I liked it at the start. It was very enjoyable, and it was a lot of fun. The level design was cool to look at, but after a while, it wore very thin. You started to realize that all the enemies, the ankle biters, the bombers, the golems, the gargoyles, they're all the same with reskins for each different world. And that's the thing. Towards the end of the game, it stopped being fun and became more of an endurance test.
Yeah.
It was very frustrating. But the thing is, if you take it in bite-sized chunks, I think it can be enjoyable. I think you can have fun with this game, but I would recommend people Don't do it a marathon session like we did.
Yeah.
Don't do something like that. I would say that it definitely does not hold up. You can have fun with it, but you definitely need to have the goggles on. What would you say?
There's a lot of excuses to be made with that. I don't really think for the time period, but I think for an endurance test, I think that for people to have fun with it, like they have to put these limitations on it. You know, they have to only play for an hour at a time. They have to get their friends together, and they have to be predisposed to enjoying a simple game that stretches itself out for hours.
Yeah.
That's the problem here, because we have Diablo, we have Fallout, Tactics, we have all these action RPGs, which are much deeper, they're more enjoyable. And Gauntlet tries to be an action RPG, but it can't quite measure up to that.
No,
And
because it was never like that to begin with anyway.
So in a sense, instead of making the pool deeper, they made the pool wider
And shallower.
and they're confusing that for more depth. And that's just it isn't quite true. I think it's an average game. I didn't hate it per se, but it definitely took the wind out of my sails when I replayed it and I realized, oh god, all these years I was BSing myself to how flawed it actually was. It is possible to have fun with it, but there's so many obstacles in the way to you having fun, I think, that I just wouldn't even recommend you put the effort into doing it.
Yeah.
There's much better 4-player cooperative games out there.
Official Nintendo seal of quality. False.
Which failed to mean anything decades ago, but
Yeah. And also, it says on the back here, it's rated teen for blood and violence. Nah, blood? When was there blood?
well, when you kill an enemy,
Maybe they're talking about all the fights you get into with your actual human companions.
you will inflict blood and violence on your friends. I mean, again, it's not like Mario Party where everybody hates each other after,
Yeah.
but like, considering how spread thin the items can be and how experience is doled out and all that, there's going to be a few arguments, which again just prevents me from really recommending the game.
Yep. Keep the goggles on, my friends. There are certainly better versions of Gauntlet out there, and much better 4-player co-op games as well.
Nothing expresses disapproval like that. Although I will say, if you knock the camera over,